What insult from childhood still manages to sting? I don't wanna date you because my friends will make fun of me. My sister doesn't want to date you anymore because her friends found out. I do not want to date you anymore because I'm your sister. Sweet Home Alabama. Whilst we were rehearsing for a school play in year 6, we were doing a scene in which I had to wear quite a clingy sequiny dress. I was minding my own business when my teacher came up to me and said in a jokey way, "Get that tummy in." I would never been self-conscious before that, but I have been embarrassed about my belly ever since. Even though I know it was intended as a harmless remark, I still remember it nearly 14 years later. Shit, that was really inappropriate, especially for someone who works with 11-year-olds. That adult really ought to know better the harm that careless comments can inflict on the trusting and impressionable children and their care. Dad called me a son of a bitch. I said that mom must be the bitch. Not too smart back then. Did your mom use one or both of her slippers to beat you? Or the three? The 3 pairs of pairs? We are not laughing with you. We are laughing at you. Thanks Mrs. Morris. 27 years since 4th grade and that is still the most honest advice a teacher has ever given me. I had a teacher named Mrs. Morris like 4 years ago who was evil too. She old, so maybe she is a vampire or something. This girl Elizabeth used to sing every time I got on the bus at the end of the school day. She would see me and go, "Big head on a little body." She had a great voice, but god dang it hurt. There is no such thing as a good Elizabeth. Clearly not British, I see. When we were little, my brother or I would do something stupid and dad would say to us, "If I put your brain in a bird it would fly backwards." It stung at the time, but now I think it is hilarious. That is a pretty good one. Santa Claus. I was the fat kid at school for many years, like Monica. I am a woman, but was told I looked like a man the same too. 3-a-holes would bully me about this. However, it was my friend who would laugh at the jokes. In hindsight, I am not sure which one hurt the most. I totally get this. One time a girl pulled down a spitter web with a stick and then wiped it in my hair. But what hurt the most was someone I respected laughed at it. That I'm annoying to be around. Yeah. Ouch. Milkbone. I was horribly bullied for years in grade school and I always managed to stuff it down and never let them see me cry. In 7th grade this kid moved to our town and became one of my biggest bullies. It was his mission to destroy any shred of self-worth I had. His pet name for me was Milkbone, because I was obviously a hideous girl who no one should ever look at or treat like a human being. I was lower than a dog. He tortured me daily through 7th and 8th grade. At the end of 8th grade my family decided to move to another state. I knew we would be moving, and I had this sense of relief that I would finally get away from these people who wanted nothing more than for me to just kill myself and get it over with. It was the last week of school and they were letting the 8th graders just hang out. I was heading up toward our baseball field, where kids were hanging out on blankets just relaxing. I walked by my tormentor who had befriended a kid I had been friends with for years. He was always an outcast, too. But the previous summer had lost weight. He was a chunky kid and had a whole personality makeover. They were hanging out at the top of the hill. I walked by just hoping to make it to a blanket to sit and enjoy the sunshine when both of them started laughing and yelled, "Here comes Milkbone." I stopped dead in my tracks and looked at my former friend just stunned. But he just kept laughing and continued ganging up on me. I slowly walked away and made my way to a blanket. I sat down and these deep, heavy sobs just bubbled up in my chest, and I just finally, after years of daily abuse, broke. I sat there just quietly sobbing. One of the few friends I had came up and asked me what was wrong, and I just quietly asked to be left alone. It was like all those years of pain and loneliness just came to the surface and broke me in that moment. I am 44 years old and this memory still destroys me. It was the lowest moment of my life and still makes me cry to this day, as embarrassing as that is to admit. AWW. I feel sad for you going through something like that. Being such that you were in middle school. Your friend was still discovering himself. He lost weight, maybe became confident, and decided to hang out with the people who were popular, or the ones he knew that were bullies, so he could protect himself from becoming a target. Unfortunately, like you were, these grade years are all about social standing, and kids pick on each other, so they know they are over the totem pole on someone. I had a friend who also threw away years of friendship when we got to middle school. It was like I didn't exist when she became popular. But anyway, if it makes you feel better, the ones who are attractive in middle school high school tend to be because they look older or had more of a puberty stage that made them look more grown during that time, while the ones deemed ugly still look childish. Well, jokes on them, because most of the popular girls now look like they're in their 30s and their mid-20s, while the people like me look young and beautiful. Yes, I was also called hideous and ugly, and I'm sure that was your case too. Don't let these memories keep you down. You are beautiful, I'm sure of it. They've just made you taint your view on yourself for so long. Thank you. The school I went to was 1st through 8th. So it was years of being with these people, and it was relentless. At one point these two girls beat me up daily for 2 weeks straight. The gym teacher saw it happening, laughed, and turned away. Why? Because my mother was head of the PTA, and she was always asking for new equipment that they didn't have funds for. So my mom would have to tell her no. So, she held a grudge against my mother and allowed her daughter to get punched in the face daily. The only reason it stopped was because I had the opportunity to write about it in a journal for English class. When my teacher saw it, she reported it to the office. I am sure some of you are thinking, why didn't you fight back? Well, I came from a very strict home and had a lot of expectations put on me by my mother because my brother and sister got in trouble a lot and had grade issues. So, I felt if I got in trouble for fighting at school it would just mean I'd get my butt beat at home too, and I would have. It was a lose-lose situation. The gym teacher had no business being a guardian for children if they could not set aside any grudge for a parent. The action of the gym teacher exhibits a childish adult. Your English teacher was your ally in this case. And I hope you know that teacher was there to protect you, and their reaction was one of concern. I would never recommend anyone fight back, I never had either. Fire versus fire just creates a bigger fire, as you said, it will cause more issue at home. What had happened with your writing could have been the best outcome as a way of handling the issue, as it was, because the fighting had stopped. I do feel for you, as I was bullied from kindergarten to 10th grade. But you know what? Let those memories make you a stronger person, and not let them make you cry. By taking those jabs and turning them around to fight for you, things will start to bounce right off of you. My stepfather, who I looked up to as a kid, I was helping him remodel a house. The box of tile I was carrying was too heavy for me. Set it down just a little hard. Every tile was broken in half. His face contorted in sheer rage. He chased me out of the house and I ran across the street. The words he shouted after me burned into me till this day. I always knew you had shit for brains. Been trying to spend most of my life trying to get him to say he is proud of me. He does not remember this event. Hey bud. Dad here. Look man. I feel you. My biological father ran away from us when I was 18 months and refused to engage with me, no matter how hard I tried to build a relationship. He is Native American. So by extension the Native community also refused to accept me. I heard the word half-breed a lot when I was growing up, from both natives and the white trash community raising me. So I get it. You yearned for someone you looked up to take pride in you, and you never got it. And I'm sorry to say, you probably never will, and that sucks. But you cannot force or manipulate opinions. But I wanted to let you know, I took a few moments to skim your profile. You started out without a decent education and worked your way up to a management position. That is impressive. You clearly give great interviewing advice, and as a help desk manager, you have been trusted with keeping one of the most important components of your boss's company running smoothly. This shows that you are not only hardworking, but you are creative, empathetic, and must have great social skills. You have an open, honest, communicative relationship with a partner you care very much about, who cares very much for you. So, as a dad, I want to tell you that I'm proud of you. You have a lot to be proud of. Keep up the good work. That was touching. You are pretty great at being a person. Keep it up. You are making me proud of both of you. I am surprised that Moran can remember to breathe. some context, I would always ask questions to better understand things. I did it in my class when I was in the 2nd grade because I was having a hard time understanding what the teacher was trying to teach. So, I asked the teacher if they could visualize what they were saying so that I could better understand it. One of my classmates blurted the above insult shortly after I asked the teacher to give a better explanation. Geez, 2nd grade. Honestly, do you think that kid was probably repeating what she heard from somewhere else? Also, you never know if someone else had the same question and were glad you asked. I have speculated that they may have heard it either from their parents or they heard it from a movie TV show. It is hard to say for sure. I remember back in high school I would be the only one that would answer our government teachers' questions. No one seemed to be interested in the class, and after a minute of silence, I would just answer the question to the best of my abilities. It was so bad that the teacher banned me from answering any questions for a month. But it was shortened down to 2 weeks because no one would answer. Fun times. Man, I am pretty skinny and walk with my head forward and a slight hunch, and someone in high school said I looked like a vulture. I have never been bullied, so don't feel bad for me. It was just a dumb joke, but it stung. I was like, damn. If I was ever another animal, vulture is probably what I'd be laughing my butt off. Oh man. The well observed jabs are the worst. Hey, look at that high-waisted man. He got feminine hips. No, that's the thing I'm sensitive about. I have posted about these before, but these 2 things stuck with me. I was always a chubby kid, and I'm still as an adult. I was at a small local amusement park and went to go on the pony ride when I was 7. There was a scale at the end of the line and they made me stand on it, then said I was too heavy to ride. Mind you, I was definitely under 100 pounds and this was not a pony, but a full-size horse that could have easily supported a rider 100, 150, especially for a 3-minute ride. That really stung, especially when I got to see my smaller friend ride a pony. When I was 12, my best friend and I watched a show that involved the program Locks of Love, where people donate hair to cancer kids so they have wigs made. I looked at my friend affectionately and said, if you had cancer, I would cut my hair off for you. She looked disgusted and said, no offense, but I would not want your hair. Up until that point, my hair had been my only physical feature I was proud of and considered beautiful. Stings even more when I started going bald at age 22, and 10 years later it is really noticeable. Poopy meanie head. That's rough. Bum chin boy. I have a very prominent cleft chin, and when the light and shadow catches it a certain way it really does look like an, but at the bottom of my face. I'm seriously considering having it fixed. Crimson chin. I suddenly remembered this. Please do not take it the wrong way. Also, try to grow a beard. Takes time but is the best macup. So good girls wish they had something like this. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.